Oh, hello, it's the 21st of September 2019 and the weather is absolutely beautiful. I think they said it was going to be about 24 degrees C today, so that really is nice. That's about 75 degrees Fahrenheit. So I've been doing a bit of work here in the vegetable patch. So you may remember the little plug plants that I grew of chard, spinach and a few kale, okay? I call them standby plants. Plants that I have, waiting to put in case of crop failures or in case a bit of spare space comes up. So some space has indeed come up behind me where I had the Victor winter squash, otherwise known as the red warty thing. We'll have a look at that in a moment, but meant to be getting some downpours tomorrow, some quite heavy rain apparently, so I thought it'd be a great day to do some setting. I've watered it in and tomorrow the rain should further water that in. So isn't that brilliant? So what we're going to do is just have a look at what I've been doing. So now they look a bit unimpressive, that is indeed the term. I'm going to get out the shadow here. But these will take, so let's say if I get 80% of them that grow on, I'll be happy with that. Of course I would like 100%. So what I've done, look, is I've put them in like that, little plug plants like that grown in the root trainers. Not root trainers, sorry, the windowsill propagators. I've spoke a lot about those in the past and I really do indeed rate those. So yeah, so this should be a really beautiful, nice crop here. It's perfectly okay to put them in at this time of year, but anything you put in, around now, you want it to be frost hardy because it's really not that long now until we could potentially be getting a frost. So now I've cheered you all up. Isn't that amazing? So you may remember here, now these were those little plug plants that I once again grew, and they were again crops in waiting, and this was the failed melon project, and the less said about that this year the better. So what I did was I put in these little beetroots, and these have grown to a decent size here. These would be great for pickling. They will get bigger as well. Now even though this is in the relative dark actually for a fair bit of the day, I managed to produce that rather large squash about I think about a month ago. I put that video up, but you can see what did indeed grow there in the relatively darkish patch. And I've been getting sort of spinach and chard from this more or less every day, to be honest. And the leaves don't look that big now simply because I've been eating from here nearly, as I stated, nearly every single day. So very happy with how the crops in waiting plug plants process works. Certainly works well for me, and I recommend that for other people. Now I'm going to be picking this soon. This is a Bennings green tint patty pan squash. That's certainly ready, for me. It's not going to mature anymore because the vine's more or less, and I think the general idea is if it comes off the vine easily, yep, which that indeed does, there you go. So isn't that absolutely isn't that absolutely fantastic? Looking beautiful, lovely, and I've mentioned this before, there's evidence to suggest that squashes like these were eaten by the Native Americans, and there's history dating back in Europe to the 1600s for these, or similar to these, and the UK back into the early 1900s. So a piece of history right on this wooden shelf. Isn't that lovely? So the runner beans really have come into their own. I was speaking to another gardener a few weeks ago, might have even been a month or so ago, and he was saying that he considered this a funny year, and his runner beans weren't doing particularly well, and mine weren't. But they really have come on lovely the last sort of a week or so. So lovely crops, lovely straight. I like to pick my runner beans when they're about like that, because if you pick them like this, they're a good size, but yet still nice and tender, nice and sweet, and without getting the sort of tough, these little bit stringy there, the tough stringy bits. But you don't want stringy runner beans, well I don't anyway. But yeah, they're looking really lovely. Variety best of all. So the downpour tomorrow should really help these, because they do like the water, the runner beans. And a few more to come, like little bits there. I still haven't fixed that post. I'm going to do it one day, I promise. But yeah, looking good, eh? Let's talk flowers. Now this is a geranium, proper name Pelargonium. This is variety Moulin Rouge. Voulez-vous avec moi ce soir? You remember that? The Christina Aguilera thing, wasn't it? And pink from the early 2000s. There we go. So anyway, now this here, I sowed these about a year or so ago in the polytunnel. Got them to germinate in the warmer weather a year or so ago, and I overwintered them, and a lot of them made it through. So I'll show you. There's that one, and some of these. Now I do this companion planting in the pots of the clematis with these tomatoes here, and you can see they've really started to sort of spill over. But a nice tomato there, look, lovely and tasty. I do things like this. I've got loads more to come. Look, there really is a lot on there, and these are lovely tips on these tomatoes. But I don't want to be sort of adhered to. I don't want to have to sort of, you know, just go by rules, so to speak. I like to really try, you know, to try new things, and planting these tomato plants in these clematis tubs. Of course, I've had to make sure I feed them regularly because they are depleting the nutrients. But even if these do not ripen, a friend of mine makes chutney and out of the green tomatoes. So that's where they're going to go if they don't ripen. So basically it's using, when you don't have much space, it can be very good to get used to using lots of different ways to generate a larger crop. Here you go. So on this shelf, look, you can see on the left there, that is a Victor winter squash, and this will keep well, you know, into the winter. And you could see the lovely sort of, I'll put a nice little zoom in. Let's see if I can zoom in even closer. Hang on. There you go. Look at that. Look. Look at that. Look. So red warty thing is the other term. I'm just going to hold it nice and still so you don't feel seasick. But really intriguing looking squash. I weighed the other one. You may remember that. I think it was about 6.2 kilograms. 13, 14 pounds, something like that. But you know, really, really lovely. And the other one, currently someone is making a dish out of that. So there we go. And that's alongside the lovely other squash, Bennings green tin, and two lovely tomatoes. What a picture, hey? So about a week or so since I planted the new blueberries, Jersey and Duke. So they're all doing very well. Still ripening off the Jersey ones. So really expecting some big things from these next year, or hopefully, you know, next year, but in subsequent years. I'm going to be building the blueberry repertoire, if you will. So going to be working very hard on that. Strawberries as well. These are all Cambridge favourite. Going to be working really hard on building a strawberry collection to be proud of. Sorting out the existing and taking more grapevine cuttings when the time comes. Loads to do, people, so very exciting, and I hope you enjoyed that. If you like my work, please feel free to like, share and subscribe. See you next time.